Hey guys, this is Scott with Pack Rats Attic, and I'm on my way home just for a temporary stop so I can get my next shift. Hey, kind of want to go over a little bit about the whirlwind of recent court decisions and the new surprise one this morning, which was not a court decision, but it was an ATF decision. Kind of need to step back and look back at some things. Everybody's like, well, why didn't the Supreme Court take and get a Second Amendment case years ago on the AR-15s? Well, honestly, I don't think, from what I understand, and I've been learning from some of the Second Amendment lawyers like Mark Smith and
in 1 mile, turn right.
Bill from Washington Gun Law and a couple others, is the time was not right for the Second Amendment cases. Now, before anybody says, well, the law should have never been passed and they should have been struck down immediately, I agree with you. Here's the thing is the courts have been building a strong case to strike down these hardware bans. Starting out with the McDonald case, which was McDonald versus City of Chicago. They struck down that handguns could not be regulated or could not be banned. And that lasted a while. Then you had DC versus Heller. DC versus Heller. Heller stated that handguns may be possessed in the home for all legal purposes. Now, those two cases kind of form the backbone of future cases. The next case that really kind of made a major change, and a lot of people don't give it credit, was Caetano. Caetano, while it was not a firearm case, it was a self-protection case. Caetano established that arms in common use may not be banned. Caetano was a stun gun case. But it did break new ground. The next big huge case really was NYSERPA versus Bruin. That case established that you do have the right to carry a firearm no matter where you are. Now, those cases, again, help form the backbone of future decisions. The next major decision was this year, and there was actually two of them. Was the Hermani case. Hermani established the fact that if you used intoxicating substances and you could still own a firearm. Now, there was a lot of language in all these previous cases that not necessarily had anything to do with the ruling, but kind of gave the mindset of where the court was headed. The next really big case to be decided was again this year. It was the Wolford case. The Wolford case kind of returned it back to common law. Common law being that the business owner has the right to say no, but to a behavior in their business. The state does not have the right to dictate to a private business owner what he or she can allow or disallow in their particular business. You know, it is up to the individual business owner whether they want to allow certain things in their business. The next, and again in both Hermione and Wolford, there were huge statements that kind of led towards future cases. And I do believe that the Supreme Court was waiting to establish these precedences in cases. So, now, going to the end of this term, the surprising thing is they agreed to take 2 weapons or hardware cases on Second Amendment grounds, and I do believe that a lot of the language again used in Wolford and Hermione is going to come back and be used in these future cases. Matter of fact, it's already being used in some lower court cases. The lawyers have rewritten briefs, and it's amazing how quick things change. You know, in this day and age of the internet, we know what a decision is immediately. As soon as it's published, John Smith can pull it up, look at it, and decipher it for himself. When I was in high school, college, up until the age of the internet, probably the 90s and 2000s, it was not really information was not disseminated as quickly as it is now. You know, you had to wait for it to be published, you had to be able to look it up, you had to go wait for the actual bound books to be published. There was no such thing as going to the Library of Congress website to look something up, or the SCOTUS blog, or anything like that. So I think we're seeing a huge uptake in rapid information, which can be good and bad, but I do believe we're seeing the majority of the good. What do I think is going to happen with the Viramontes and Miller case? I do believe we're going to win them. I do believe the AR-15 bans are going to get struck down. I don't know if it's going to be a narrow or a broad decision. I do believe that we're going to see at least a 6-3 decision. I'm more leaning to probably a 7-2, or even an 8-1. I do believe there's one justice that's gonna vote against it no matter what. Now, one of the big shockers that we had was Virginia has 2 injunctions against their ban, and I believe that the Second Amendment community is going to win against Virginia, especially with Hermione and Wolford being decided as such it is, and with the language that's being used in Hermione and Wolford. One of the big surprises, well, it really wasn't a surprise, but it kind of was, is DOJ, the Federal Department of Justice, is suing the state of Virginia. Now, we all heard that this was going to happen. The state was going to file against the federal government was going to file against the state. And I was taking I'll believe it when I see it type attitude. Well, it happened. But then they turned around and they're suing California over their semi-auto pistol ban. I hesitated to call it a Glock ban because it's far more reaching than a Glock. I do believe that we're seeing a new era in the federal government. I'm just afraid that if we change from the conservative conservative administration, and I really don't even want to say Donald Trump, but the conservative, I really do hope that we get our next president is a conservative. We're going to see a huge change in the restoration of not just our Second Amendment rights, but all of our rights. I really do believe that the momentum is on the Second Amendment side, but we can't stop supporting the groups. We can't stop fighting. Braden Langley has the saying, fight like you're going to lose, vote like you're going to lose. And that's the way we have to be. We can't take a breather. We got to keep the pressure on, not just by voting, but once we get somebody in office, we have to keep after them, make sure that they do the job that we hired them to do. The other surprise that we had today, and this was just today, was the ATF, who has historically in the past added more and more and more regulations and made things more and more difficult. Just suddenly this morning proposed a new rule, and I'm kind of glad I waited to do this video. If you file for a suppressor or class 3 type item, you do a form 1, form 4, whatever you do, as a trust, you no longer have to submit fingerprints or a photo or a passport photo. They are willing to let you use your current driver's license or state-issued ID as such photo proof. This is a huge step in the right direction. While I do believe that the NFA is unconstitutional and we shouldn't have to do things such as do a second background check for a item, this is still a step in the right direction, and they are still complying with federal law. They are working with current federal law, and I think that this is going to be, again, a good thing. With the fact that suppressors and short barrels are becoming so much more popular, this is going to reduce a lot of red tape. And even the ATF admitted that less than 1% of Form 1s and Form 4s have to get a increased background check. Well, why do we need more paperwork and more red tape to possess such items? I really like the trend that things are going. Thinking this is the 250th year of our freedom from oppression by the state of England. Well, you know what? Maybe this is going to be a year of increased freedom for us, for all Americans. I really hope it is. So if anybody has any comments or suggestions down below, please make them. I really like reading comments. I do read them, and I try to either give a thumbs up or a reply or something along those lines. Like, share, and subscribe. I know everyone says that, but I am a new channel. I am trying to grow my new channel. So, please help me grow this channel. Help me get a further reach and see how we can improve together. One of the things, I don't know how many of you guys follows either Gizzard Gary or some of the other channels. I have announced on there, Pack Rat's Attic will be moving locations. We're actually getting a better place. I will have a dedicated space to be able to do my videos. So I am going to continue with doing this thoughts and wisdoms while I'm driving, because it's kind of good use of that time. The nice thing about where we're going to is I'm going to have 3 places that I can be doing videos from and chats. So look forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. If anybody has any comments, suggestions, please make them down below. I look forward, like I said, to reading all these comments and suggestions. Again, like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. I really do want this channel to grow. When I hit 100 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. Not sure what I'll be giving away just yet, but it's probably going to be something that I have won from various persons. So, everyone have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be safe out there. Always remember your ABCs. I know I always say that, but again, keep this in mind. When you need help, help is minutes away. There's nobody coming there to help you until it's all over. So again, thank you. Have a good day. And we will be talking to you later, probably tomorrow, the way things are going and decisions are coming down. Who knows what we're going to have? Thank you again. Have a good day.